It's game day, bitches. Steelers, Lions, Acrisure Stadium. Pickett versus Trubisky for QB1. Everyone's excited, so you know that's why we're here. We're doing a game day preview, but we're going to keep the same thing rolling that we have been throughout this whole preseason, and that's real game fake lines, where I give you fake betting lines for a real game. Let's get into it. For the first few here, I'm feeling a little nostalgic. I'm thinking the broadcast might give us some highlights and some throwback moments. First one I'm thinking is, do we see highlights from Mason Rudolph against the Lions last year in the regular season? Can't you just see it now? Mason's walking in the third quarter. Oh, last time Mason was on this field against the Lions, this is what happened. The reason I don't think it's that likely, though, is Mason really didn't have his best game and the Steelers ended up tying. And you know how these preseason broadcasts are. They lean more on the homer side of things. And also, Goff isn't playing. I think it'd be different if it was a 1-to-1 showdown of exact repeat of Mason versus Goff. But Mason's going to be going up against, I don't know, Boyle or Blau, something like that in the third quarter. So I'm going to say plus 160 because there is a chance still. Staying with Mason, how many times does the audition line get brought up? Oh, Mason, at this point in the game, he could not only be auditioning for his job with the Steelers, but all the other 31 teams across the league. But then they're also going to throw in, it also could be the team that's standing right across the sideline from him. I'm going to say we hear some version of that like 3 or 4 times. So I'm going to set the line at like 2.5, but I'm taking the over. Next one, do we see any Charlie Batch Lions highlights? This is absolutely a slam dunk. The odds I have on this one are for yes, minus 500, no, plus 1,000. So, I mean, this is absolutely a slam dunk. For those of you that don't know who Charlie Batch is, he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was Ben's backup for, I don't know how many years, probably like 10 years. But before he joined the Steelers, he spent 4 years with the Detroit Lions. So this is the perfect game to run it back down to memory lane. Charlie Batch is going to be in the booth too. And this is exactly how it's going to play out. Oh, Charlie, this sure probably takes you down memory lane seeing the two teams that you played for in the NFL, duking it out down on the field while you're in the booth. How does it make you feel? And then the last one for the nostalgic aspect. Do we see the infamous Thanksgiving highlight with Jerome Bettis calling the coin toss and then the Steelers getting screwed and losing in overtime? It's preseason. I don't know if you break that one out for this one, but there's always a chance. So I'm going to be saying yes for plus 170. Now to the on-the-field lines, and we'll go with quarterbacks because this is a big game for the quarterbacks. For Mitch Trubisky, I have an over-under for him for the amount of series. I got the line set at 2.5, and we'll just say it's even odds for both yes and no. And then for Pickett, the question is, does he actually play in the third quarter? And I'll say yes, no. Make it even lines for that. My thinking is Mitch played 2 series in game 1, and then he played 3 series in game 2. So we just split the difference to make the line. And it has been announced that he's going to be starting in this game. So I'm guessing the itinerary is going to be very similar. It's just the question of, does he get 2 series or does he get 3? And for Kenny, since it's the same batting order for the quarterbacks from last week, Mitch 1, Kenny 2, and then Mason 3, we saw how that played out last week where Mitch got the 3 series, Kenny got 2, but then didn't make it past halftime. I'm wondering, since the quarterback competition is heating up a little bit and it's still open, does Kenny get that extra series or 2 heading into the third quarter? Next one, does Naji Harris get a snap in the second quarter? I got this line set at even as well because I could see it going either way. Goal number 1 is just to get Naji Harris in and out healthy. We don't want to risk any injuries in this meaningless game. But then Naji has talked about wanting more reps, not only in practice, but preseason to try to get his body ready for week 1. So I could see him personally wanting to play into the second quarter. And also, what would help his case for playing is that Pickett's going to be playing in the second quarter. And if the quarterback competition is still open, I could see an inclination from the coaching staff to give Pickett the full arsenal that Mitch had for however many series that he had to start the game. Now we're going to go to the defense, and this one revolves around the inside linebackers. And I'm just going to do this one as a pick'em. Who gets the most tackles out of the group? And I'm going to include all the players. Now, I don't know who your initial reaction is whenever you say who's going to get the most tackles, but I think it could go any which way because Buddy Johnson led the group with 7 tackles in preseason game 1, and then you had Spillane last week with 8. But then you look at the totals for the preseason. Spillane has 11 total tackles, Mark Robinson with 8, Devin Bush 4, Buddy Johnson with 10, and then Miles Jack has a total of 6. Now, Miles Jack might have a better chance this week just because there have been talks about the starters playing a decent amount in the first half. So if you're going to have like Cam Hayward out there, TJ Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick playing a decent amount of the first half, I'm sure Miles Jack will get a significant amount of snaps. The question is he going to be able to make enough tackles before he gets pulled? Because I could see Spillane playing most of the game, and Mark Robinson too. We've heard the talks about his first team reps. I feel like they could play in the first quarter, and also they could play in the fourth quarter. Whereas Miles Jack, he's only playing first quarter, second quarter max. Yeah, this could go anyway. And then the last one, keeping it simple, who gets the most receiving yards? And again, we're just going to have it as a pick 'em. Because, like, again, you're probably thinking, man, I like Pickens' chances better than someone like Tyler Snead or like Steven Sims. But it's preseason. You could throw all that out the window because you know who is leading the Steelers in receiving for these 2 preseason games thus far. Tyler Vaughns. He finished first last week, and he had 3rd most receiving yards in the first preseason game. Last week, it was 4 receptions, 56 yards. And then the first one, it was 2 receptions for 32 yards. In the first game, you had Gunner win it with the most receiving yards. He had 47. Pickens was 2. He had 40 plus. But then he didn't do anything in the Jaguars game. So yeah, I mean, it's not a slam dunk for really any of these candidates. I think a sleeper pick could be Jaylen Warren if he's able to break off a screen or something because he is getting work in the passing game. 40 receptions, 30 yards in game 1. 3 receptions, 24 yards in game 2. So yeah, could we see like a 4 reception, 50 to 60 yard game from Warren? I don't think it's that much of a stretch because it seems like if you can get in that 40 to 50 yard range, you got a pretty decent chance of taking the crown. Unless someone like throws, an 80-yard bomb or something like that. It just all depends on the work and who's getting the targets. And in preseason, it could be anyone's game. My pick for this one, though, I'm saying Pickens. I think he bounces back from last week. Not saying it was a bad game. It just wasn't really a good statistical showing. I think it was, 1 reception for 6 yards. I think he comes out with Mitch and Kenny both competing for this quarterback 1 spot. They're going to go to the guy that's been lighting it up in training camp and that has a big catch radius, and it's going to help make the quarterbacks look good. So that's it for Real Game Fake Lines preseason edition. Let me know what you guys think of the lines, the odds that were set down in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay chilling. Peace.